You're waiting. Right now, in this exact moment, you're waiting for permission. You're waiting for the right time. You're waiting for someone to believe in you first. And nobody is coming. That's not pessimism. That's freedom. That's the most liberating truth you'll hear today, because the moment you stop waiting for someone else to validate your worth, to hand you the opportunity to make the path easier, that's the exact moment your life changes. You felt this, haven't you? That hollow sensation in your chest when you think about your potential. You know you're capable of more. You've imagined it 1,000 times. Late at night, you've visualized yourself doing something meaningful, something that matters, something that only you can do. But then morning comes and the weight of reality settles back in. Your circumstances look the same. Your bank account looks the same. Nobody is called with an amazing offer. Nobody has knocked on your door with an opportunity wrapped in a bow. So you wait one more day. And then one more week, and then one more year, and somewhere inside, this isn't the life you were meant to live, but the pain of where you are feels more familiar than the uncertainty of where you need to go. So you stay. You compromise. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, next month, after this happens, when that changes. You fill your time with acceptable distractions, because distraction is easier than confrontation, confronting your own fear, confronting your own doubt, confronting the simple truth that nobody is obligated to believe in you but you. This isn't about being harsh with yourself. This is about being honest. Real compassion means telling you the truth, not the comfortable lie. Real love means refusing to let you waste another day waiting for a rescuer who doesn't exist. Because here's what you haven't realized yet. Everyone who's built something meaningful, everyone who's overcome something difficult, everyone who's become someone worth becoming, they all reach the exact same moment you're facing right now. The moment of truth. The moment where they looked around and realized nobody was coming. Nobody was going to make it easier. Nobody was going to validate them first. Nobody was going to remove the obstacles. Nobody was going to guarantee success. And that's when they started. That's when the real work began. You've been waiting for external permission when the only permission that matters has been inside you the entire time. You've been looking outward for validation when every ounce of real confidence is built inward, brick by brick, day by day, decision by decision. You've been hoping someone would believe in you when the only belief that moves mountains is self-belief. Not arrogance, not blind confidence, but the quiet, unshakable knowing that you are capable of more than your current circumstances and you are willing to become the person required to achieve it. Think about what you've already survived. Think about the obstacles you've already overcome. You've endured setbacks that would have broken lesser people. You've faced disappointments that could have convinced you to give up. You've experienced failures that could have meant the end of the story. But you're still here. You're still standing. You're still conscious enough to feel this calling, this pull, this whisper inside that says there's something more. That itself is evidence of your resilience, but you've been using that resilience to stay comfortable instead of to become unstoppable. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Let that sink in. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. The life you're living right now is comfortable enough to keep you trapped, but painful enough to make you regret it. That's the cruelest prison, the one where the bars aren't locked. You could leave, you could start, you could try, but something keeps you there. Fear, doubt. The voice that says, maybe you're not ready, maybe you'll fail, maybe other people will think less of you. That voice is lying. You're listening to the voice of every person who played it safe. You're listening to the collective whisper of everyone too afraid to try. You're listening to a fear that doesn't belong to you, but you've inherited it, carried it, made it your own. It's time to set it down. It's time to look at that fear and say, I acknowledge you, but you don't control me. Because here's what fear actually is. It's just energy. Raw, focused, powerful energy that you've been directing toward inaction instead of toward action. You've been using your imagination to picture all the ways you could fail instead of picturing all the ways you could succeed. You've been so creative with your self-doubt. You've been so inventive with your excuses. Imagine if you redirected that same mental power toward building something real. The truth is, waiting for someone else to believe in you first is waiting for something that will never come. The world doesn't owe you anything. Success isn't a democracy where enough votes of approval grant you permission to try. The people who've changed their lives, who've built empires, who've overcome impossible odds, they didn't wait for consensus. They didn't conduct a survey to see if people thought they had a shot. They looked at their life, they looked at their potential, they looked at their regrets, and they made a choice. Not because they knew they would win, not because they had a guarantee, but because the alternative, staying where they were, was worse than the risk of trying. That's the threshold you're standing at right now. You're standing at the exact intersection where your current life meets your potential life, and you're afraid to step forward because you can see everything you have to lose in the comfort zone. But you're not seeing everything you have to gain by leaving it. You're not seeing the version of yourself that exists on the other side of this decision. You're not feeling the pride you'll carry in your chest knowing that you did it. Not because someone helped you. Not because someone believed in you, not because the circumstances were perfect, but because you decided your life was worth the fight. Think about the weight you're carrying right now, the weight of unused potential, the weight of dreams you haven't pursued, the weight of that constant low-level regret that whispers every single day. That weight is real. It's not just in your head, it's in your body. It's in the way you move through the world with less energy than you should have. It's in the relationships that suffer because you're checking out, because you're not fully present, because a part of you is always somewhere else, somewhere you wish you were. That weight doesn't go away by waiting. It gets heavier. Every month you wait, you add another brick. Every year you postpone, you add another chain. The only way to lighten the load is to finally pick a direction and start walking toward it. Not toward perfection, not toward certainty, just toward something different, toward growth, toward purpose. Toward the version of yourself that's been trying to get your attention this entire time. Here's what I know about you that maybe you don't know about yourself yet. You're stronger than your excuses. You're more capable than your self-doubt. You're more worthy than you've been treating yourself. But knowing this intellectually and living it are two completely different things. Living it means waking up and making choices based on who you want to become instead of who you've been. It means saying no to things that are safe so you can say yes to things that matter. It means disappointing people who are comfortable with you being small so you can satisfy the person inside you who's desperate to be free. That person is inside you right now. Can you feel them? That voice that's been getting quieter over the years, that hope that's been dimming, that dream that's been fading, that's the part of you that's been trying to survive in an environment where you've decided to settle. But you can revive that person. You can make that voice louder. You can turn that hope into action and your dream into reality. Not with a magic moment, not with a sudden change of circumstances, but with a series of simple daily choices to become someone different. The first choice is to stop waiting. Right now, not tomorrow, not Monday, not after this obstacle passes. Right now is the only moment you have power over. This moment, this breath, this decision, this is where it starts. Not because everything will suddenly make sense, not because you'll feel completely ready, but because waiting isn't a strategy. Waiting is surrender. It's you giving up your power to external circumstances and hoping someone or something will come along and fix it for you. But you're not broken. Your situation isn't hopeless. Your circumstances don't define your destiny. What defines your destiny is what you do with this moment and the next moment and the one after that. It's the daily grind of showing up, even when it's hard. It's the discipline of taking action when you feel like waiting. It's the courage to be lonely in your ambition, to pursue something that only you can see right now, to invest in yourself when the world is telling you to be content with less. That's the real work, not the dramatic moment, not the sudden breakthrough, but the unglamorous, unnoticed daily work of becoming someone different, one decision at a time. No one's going to clap for you the first 100 times. No one's going to validate this journey at the beginning. You're going to feel alone, uncertain, and sometimes like you're wasting your time. That's not a sign to quit. That's a sign that you're on the right path, because the path to something real, to something meaningful, to something worth having, that path is always lonely at first. It has to be. It's only when you've built something real that others believe in it enough to join you, but you can't wait for them. You have to be willing to walk that path by yourself, knowing that your only companion at the beginning is the version of yourself that you're becoming. You have to trust that process. You have to believe that person is worth becoming even when you're the only one who sees it. That's not delusion. That's faith. That's the kind of faith that moves mountains. And let me be clear, this isn't about toxic positivity. This isn't about thinking happy thoughts and magically winning at life. This is about rolling up your sleeves and doing the work that no one else can do for you. This is about the grind, the repetition, the discipline. The willingness to be uncomfortable for long enough that uncomfortable becomes your new normal. This is about looking at your life and saying, I'm willing to suffer for my growth because I've already suffered enough in my stagnation. There's a different kind of suffering. You see, there's the suffering of trying and failing and getting back up, and there's the suffering of not trying at all, of living with regret, of wondering what could have been. One of those suffering leads somewhere. The other just leads to more emptiness. Choose the suffering that builds you. Choose the pain of growth over the numbness of staying the same. Start with clarity, not someday, right now. What is it that you actually want? Not what sounds good, not what you think you should want, not what other people expect you to want. What does your gut tell you? What makes you lose track of time? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Write it down. Say it out loud. Stop hiding from it. Stop letting it be a secret dream that you're ashamed to pursue. Bring it into the light. Name it. Own it. This is the first act of power, deciding what you actually want instead of defaulting to whatever comes your way. Then set a deadline. Not a vague timeline, a specific date. Mark it on a calendar. Tell your brain, this is the day I'm going to look like I'm working toward this. This isn't about rigid perfectionism. It's about giving your mind a target. Your brain doesn't know how to move towards something vague. It needs coordinates. It needs a destination. Give it that gift. Give yourself that focus. Because focus is a superpower that most people have completely surrendered. Then break it down into something so small it feels almost insulting. Don't say, I'm going to change my life. Say, I'm going to spend 15 minutes tonight thinking about what needs to change. Don't say, I'm going to build a business. Say, I'm going to research one business idea today. Small, specific, doable. Because momentum isn't built on big dramatic gestures. It's built on small, consistent actions repeated so many times that one day you wake up and you barely recognize yourself, not because you've arrived at perfection, but because you've been sculpting yourself steadily into a stronger version. Think of it like a river carving through a mountain. The river doesn't smash its way through with one powerful strike. It flows consistently, day after day, year after year, water wearing away stone. That same stone seems immovable for years. Nothing happens. But if the river keeps showing up, eventually the mountain gives way. You're the river. Your discipline is the flow. Your goals are the mountain. Keep showing up. Keep flowing. The mountain will move. But here's where most people fail. They quit before the mountain moves. They quit when it seems impossible. They quit when they don't see progress. They quit because they're hungry for dramatic change and small daily progress feels invisible. This is where you need iron discipline. Not discipline that's rigid and punishing, but discipline that's loving and committed. Discipline that says, I'm worth showing up for. I'm worth this effort. I'm going to do this not because I feel like it, but because I've already decided I'm the kind of person who follows through. That's the magic word, decide. Not hope, not wish, decide. Make a firm choice that this is what you're going to do. And when doubt comes, and it will come, usually around day 3 or week 2, you don't need to feel motivated. You just need to remember your decision. I already decided this is non-negotiable. This is who I am now. That's the bridge between the person you are and the person you want to become. That bridge is made of decisions strung together into a chain of actions, and you build that bridge by yourself alone in the quiet moments when nobody's watching. That's where real change happens. Not in the gym when other people are there. Not on social media when people are cheering you on. But at night when you're tired and nobody would know if you quit. That's when you're building character. That's when you're becoming unstoppable. Because real confidence doesn't come from external validation. It comes from doing things when it's hard. It comes from keeping promises you made to yourself. It comes from knowing that you can trust yourself, that your word to yourself means something, that you're not someone who quits when it gets difficult. That's the kind of confidence that can't be taken away. Nobody can steal your self-respect. Nobody can take your integrity. Nobody can remove the pride you carry from knowing that you've kept your commitments. This is also where you need to stop looking for approval from people who are staying small. Stop asking for permission from people who are afraid. Stop taking advice from people who aren't doing what you want to do. This sounds harsh, but it's an act of love toward yourself. Seek counsel from people who've actually done it. Learn from people who are ahead. Spend time with people who are stretching themselves. Because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and if 4 of those people are comfortable with mediocrity, the 5th best version of yourself isn't enough to overcome that weight. Upgrade your environment, even if it's just mental and digital. Unfollow people who make you feel small. Mute conversations that drain you. Create space for voices that challenge you. Read books by people who've done what you want to do. Listen to content that elevates you. Stop filling your mind with garbage and expecting to produce gold. Your mind is the soil. You are what you plant in it. If you're planting doubt, you'll harvest doubt. If you're planting fear, you'll harvest fear. If you're planting possibility and growth and courage, That's what will eventually bloom. And yes, you'll fail. Let me say that again because this is crucial. You will fail. You will make mistakes. You will go backwards sometimes. You will hit walls that seem impossible to overcome. That's not a sign to stop. That's a sign that you're growing. Failure is data, not destiny. Every failure teaches you something the success never could. Every setback is preparation for a bigger comeback. The only real failure is quitting, walking away, and deciding that where you are is good enough when you know it isn't. This is where you need to be willing to be lonely. Not in a sad way, but in a focused way. You're going to be doing things that your friends aren't doing. You're going to be awake when they're sleeping. You're going to be investing when they're spending. You're going to be building when they're comfortable. They'll question you. They'll tease you. They'll say you're being unrealistic. And that's okay. Let them. Their comfort doesn't have to be your ceiling. Their limitations don't have to be your limitations. You can love them and still outgrow them. You can care about them and still become more than they are. That's not arrogance. That's honesty. Everyone has the exact same opportunity you have to wake up, to decide, to build. The only difference between you and someone who's accomplished something is that they did it and you haven't yet. That's it. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not who they knew. It's that they chose to do the work when doing the work was optional, when they could have chosen comfort instead. You can choose that too. Right now, you have the power. You might not have money. You might not have connections. You might not have perfect circumstances. But you have time, you have breath, you have a mind that can think and hands that can act and a heart that can feel. That's more than enough. That's actually everything. The universe, God, life, fate, whatever you believe in didn't put this desire inside you to torture you. It put it there as a map. It's showing you where you need to grow. It's telling you where you're capable of reaching. It's burning inside you as a guide. All you have to do is follow it. All you have to do is say yes to it. All you have to do is stop waiting for permission and start honoring that voice inside. Your past is not your destiny. Your current circumstances are not your final destination. Your failures do not define you. Your doubts do not determine your future. You are not locked into being who you've been. The person reading this, listening to this, feeling this right now, you have the power to become someone different. Not in a wish, not in a dream, but in a decision followed by 1,000 small daily actions. So here's what you're going to do, and I want you to feel this like you're making a contract with yourself. Tonight, you're going to sit down and write down the one thing, not the list, the one thing that your life would look like if you actually went for it. Not in vague terms, in specific, vivid detail. What does that life feel like? What does it look like? Who are you in that life? Write it like it's already true, because in your mind, that's where it lives. That reality exists in your consciousness right now. You just have to build a bridge from here to there. Then starting tomorrow, you're going to take one tiny action, not a huge commitment, one small thing that points toward that vision. And you're going to do that same thing the next day and the next. Not perfectly, not with constant motivation, but with consistent follow through. You're going to be the person who keeps their promises to themselves. Third, you're going to stop talking about it. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but talking about your dreams to the wrong people is a substitute for actually doing them. It feels like progress when it's actually avoidance. Tell the right people, people who will hold you accountable and believe in you, but stop justifying your vision to people who don't need to understand it. Let your results do the talking. Let your transformation speak. Fourth, you're going to embrace the loneliness of ambition. You're going to sit with the discomfort. You're going to get to know your doubt so intimately that it stops being scary and starts being just another thought you notice and release. You're going to become friends with hard work. You're going to fall in love with the person you're becoming, not just the results you're chasing. And fifth, you're going to remember this feeling. This feeling right now, reading this, knowing on some level that you're capable of more, hold on to this. Because there will be days when that feeling fades. There will be weeks when the weight of the grind makes you want to quit. On those days, come back to this. Remember that you already knew what you needed to do. Remember that you already decided. Remember that nobody is coming. And that's exactly what sets you free, because here's the secret that changes everything. Nobody is coming because you're the one. You're the person you've been waiting for. You're the hero of your own story, not the character waiting to be rescued. You're the answer to your own prayer. You're the author, the architect, the creator of your life. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you take back your power. That power is yours right now, not tomorrow, now. Not when the timing is perfect. It's perfect right now. Not when you're completely ready, because you'll never feel completely ready. You just have to be ready enough to start, and readiness is built through starting, not before it. Look in the mirror. Look at yourself. See that person? That's the only person who has to believe in you. That's the only approval you need. That's the only permission that matters. And that person right now in this moment has all the power necessary to change everything. So do it, not because it's easy, not because it's guaranteed, not because someone else is doing it or because it's fashionable or because you have the perfect setup. Do it because you've already lived enough days waiting. Do it because you deserve to know what you're capable of. Do it because the world needs what you have to offer. Do it because staying small is no longer acceptable. Nobody is coming. And that's not tragic. That's liberation. That's the moment everything changes. That's the moment you step into your power and you stop begging the universe to believe in you and you start building a life worth believing in. The rest of your life is waiting. Your real self is waiting. Your potential is waiting, but it's not coming to you. So you have to go to it. You have to build it. You have to become it brick by brick, day by day, decision by decision. Start now. Not another minute of waiting, not another hour of hesitation, not another day of the same person making the same choices and wondering why nothing changes. Start now and watch how quickly your life transforms when you finally become the person you've always known you could be. The future doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be committed. Are you willing? Are you finally ready to walk alone toward everything you've imagined? Then move. Right now. Take one step. Take one action. Make one decision. And the person you're trying to become will meet you there because that's who you are. You're not the person waiting anymore. You're the person who decides, and your real life has just begun.